Okay, so what we're going to do today is, again, my first order of business is to make sure that we're all able to use the software, and once we can, then we can kind of move forward. I can move forward with an assignment to give you. And usually in Art 149, this class, I usually just jump right into an assignment. The class assumes that you are somewhat well-versed or somewhat versed in the programs that we're using, Photoshop and InDesign. And so I don't really have to go through, a lot of the basic intro things to InDesign. And however, what I found is that, oh, okay, I see your screen there.
So that's the error I'm getting.
Unable to contact, we couldn't launch your workspace, please try again. Okay, now you're getting this. At one point, are you getting this?
So I go ahead and here, let me show you.
Yeah, can you just kind of start from the beginning?
So it prompts me to this, and then I just, log in using my Canvas login as I do.
Okay.
And if I were to put in like the wrong login, like I'm sure it would let me know like wrong password or something.
Right, right.
You know what? Let me put in the wrong password just so we see that's not the issue. And there, that's what happens when I use the wrong password. But when I put in, let me go ahead and use my right password. And then I just do the spinny thingy, and then it'll just take me back to the original error that showed up.
Okay. Yeah, because I know I sent in your email address for him to set up a workspace for you based on your email that was on the registration of, your Valley College email.
Yes. Hang on, it's doing something. It paused my screen sharing, but I'm not sure how to resume it because it did it automatically.
Okay, yeah, sometimes when you're sharing your screen, when you're working on the internet through Zoom, it's slow. I find that out too, as I'm trying to access web pages, websites, through my share on Zoom. It seems like it's slower.
Yeah, it does seem that way. But I tried to do it again, and now this popped up.
Okay.
And it seems to be working now. I'm not sure why. I tried it a dozen times yesterday.
Okay, so it would be the Adobe Creative Suite that you're going to be trying to access, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's what they were saying that they're getting. Now he said he entered his same school email.
I'll go ahead and try that. Is it a school account, right?
It would be a school account, yeah. See what happens there.
Oh, and then it just prompts me to, okay.
Okay. So I guess you weren't getting this before, huh?
No, this is the first time I'm able to access this.
Okay, okay. Well, we'll see that as a good thing.
So yes, it seems to be working now.
Okay.
I don't know, with all the system lags at the moment, I may just spend the one-time $40 thingy.
Well, I'll tell you something, you know, as far as speed goes, anytime you're accessing software on the internet, you know, it's going to be slower. And I'm not sure how efficiently this is going to work, but
No, I know, and
supposedly,
that's why I just want to go ahead and just buy it. I mean, it's
yeah,
$40 for
it's
6 months. I don't know how much of a greater deal I'm going to get.
yeah, it's a pretty good deal for 6 months.
Yeah.
$40 for 6 months. But I'm very
Considering how
curious
much
to see.
time it's taking to load, and like, I just can't take any lagging, I guess.
Okay, so that,
And I know it's not my own personal internet because I never have any lags using my internet here.
well, it looks like something's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for doing this because, like I said, you know, I can't even get past the first, there wasn't a machine set up for me. So normally I would try this out before I tell you guys anything.
I know, but I feel like it's like a bingo system. It just picks and chooses who it wants to show up for randomly.
Yeah.
You know?
Miriam, you're patiently
It looks
waiting.
like
Thank you.
I already logged in and everything, and it just took me back to the home screen for like no reason.
Yeah, I see that. I wonder if it's performing those updates. I think it's
If
at
it
it.
is, it's just gonna take a while, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. Just let it
Sharing
cook.
my screen, and I'll let it run in the background. I'll just
Okay.
update you as you continue class.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Um, well, I'm going to continue on. So what we usually do is we kind of jump right into a project, and the project that I thought I would give you guys is, now first of all, let me just ask how familiar, I mean, you pretty comfortable with InDesign as far as just, you know, setting text and bringing in photos and things like that? You can just chat your response if you want. Yeah, Miriam, okay. All right. Okay. So here is the project that we're going to start with. And let me share my screen now. Going to have you design a national parks brochure. And this is one of the assignments that I've given my 149 classes before. It's a really cool assignment. It's a little bit involved, but I think there's enough information and examples here for you to get an idea of you know, what the scope of this project is going to be, we're going to assume that you are being hired as a graphic designer to design a brochure for a national park. Now, I don't know if you've, you know, been to other national parks, but the national park system in the United States is, I believe there's 28 national parks. And each time you go to a national park, you're given a brochure as you go through the gate. And that brochure is actually a brochure that was designed by this designer. I've listed him up here. His name was Massimo Vignelli. Italian designer that the United States government hired to come up with a kind of a system to lay out information of national parks in a grid. And I'm going to show you the grid, and you're going to design your national park on this same grid. And that's one of the requirements, is that you must use a 12-column grid. Now, here's an example of a national park that the Kennesaw Mountain National Park. This is the front of it, and this is the back of it. So think of, okay, this title right up here, this black bar up here is not part of the brochure. It actually starts right here all the way across. And if you follow my mouse across, this is the front, and then this is the back. And what I've done is I've given you an actual full-size version of it that you can click on here. In fact, if I clicked on this, it's a PDF file. This will launch that PDF file. And you can see this up big. So this is the top of it. And as you come down, you can see all of this information. And then this is the bottom of the front side, and this is the beginning, the top of the back side. And it continues on all the way down. So when I say a 12-column grid, we can look at these little captions right here, and we can see this is 1 column, then a space, 2 columns and a space, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And the way this is designed is that all the text and photos align to a column in this grid. So you notice how this block of text right here actually takes up 3 columns. And this takes up 3 columns. The map over here takes up 4 columns. It's aligned here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it ends here. So we have 2 columns, 2 columns, 4 columns, 2 columns, and 2 columns. What this does is when you design a brochure in a column grid like this, it enables you to organize all of this information. So you're not just kind of randomly throwing down text and images on a page. You have a structure. You have an underlying grid structure that's kind of dictating where things go. So you can see here that through this column grid, now you can't see the grid on these pages here, but I'm going to show you the grid and you'll see how it works. So this is the Kennesaw Mountain brochure. Here's one that my wife and I went to in Cabrillo, the Cabrillo Monument in San Diego. It's a national park, and this is the brochure. And you can see this represents that front side. This is side 1. Now you notice it folds in 4 places horizontally. 1 fold, 2 folds, 3 folds. So it ends up being 4 horizontal panels. And then it's folded in the middle. So it folds into a booklet. This is the back side. Or this is actually the front side. And this is the back side. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to show you the actual brochure right here. So this is what it looks like when it's all folded up. And you can see when you open it up, it's a 12-column grid. I'm going to open this up, okay? So basically, you have 1 panel, 1 horizontal panel, 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if you can see that, but. And you can see right here that this is 1 column, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, this block of text takes up 2 columns in the grid. Now, even though it's a grid structure like this, there's a lot of fun things that you can do with this. You can use text as 2 columns or 4 columns or 3 columns. Notice this text on the front here, this text right here. It actually goes 4 columns wide, this 1 paragraph here. It's larger text, so it works as a 4-column wide setting. You wouldn't want to set this small text 4 columns wide because it would be, the line would be too long for that small of text. But notice the photos. Notice how interesting the photos are used. They're cutouts, and they break the plane of this photograph. Starts here, but it kind of rises up and it breaks into this photo. And then it breaks past the plane of this photo into the top area. So there's a lot of interesting layout things that are happening. Notice how this entire photograph is being used as a background, the lighthouse. This is the sky, then it comes all the way down, and finally we start seeing the lighthouse, but the whole photograph becomes the background to this area here. This text is overprinting the photo. And then these photos are printing on top of this photo. Actually, everything's printing on top of this 1 photo. So the 1 photo is being used as the entire piece. But we have some really interesting things happening here. We have these images that are cut out, that are breaking the plane. That's what makes this kind of dynamic and interesting in terms of layout. So we see a similarity, and then this all folds up like this, and then folds in half like a map, and that's what you get, okay? And this is what they hand you when you drive through the gate, and it pays your money. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to design a national parks brochure. So it says, in this assignment, you will design a brochure for a national park. You may choose any of the 28 national parks in the US, but you must adhere to the grid and typographic system established by Massimo Vignelli. So he's the one that created this grid. You can design any element you want here, any photograph. You can choose your photographs. You can You're not going to be writing the text, okay? So don't worry about that. I'm going to show you, I'm going to explain to you what you're going to do when it comes to text. It's all going to be just what we call placeholder text. So I'll show you how to do that in InDesign. So don't worry about having to write real words for this. But I do want you to kind of design a layout for a national park using photographs of that park and other little interesting things that a visitor might want to see when they go to that park. Okay, and that'll be up to you as far as what you want to show, what you feel is most important in that national park. Like, you know, Yosemite, for instance, you know, Half Dome and Yosemite Falls and the, you know, Ahwahnee Hotel. Those are kind of landmark places in Yosemite that I'm sure you'll want to, you know, put in a park brochure. Also, maybe maps of certain areas, and there's tons and tons of information and photographs that you can grab from the internet to use in your parks brochure. So you don't have to, you know, use any kind of original photography. You can grab whatever you want off of the internet, off of Google Images. Go to the website, go to the national parks, you know, .org, and you can access any national park. In fact, let's just go there right now. I'm going to go to national parks. The main national parks website is nps.gov. So if you went here, you just kind of, actually I want to go to their home page, so sorry about that. Home page here, okay. So this is the National Park Service homepage. And if you go, you know, up to menu, find a park, you can easily find a park anywhere you want. Let's say you wanted to do, you know, any of these parks in Arizona, Grand Canyon National Park, probably the most famous one. Click on that. And this is all kind of information based on Grand Canyon National Park. You've got photographs, you've got information. So it'll be up to you to choose what, you know, information you want to put in that brochure. Okay, lots of photos and information. You can just download photos from here. If you're on a Mac, sometimes you could just kind of control click and then save the image as, and you can save that image and then bring it into InDesign. If you can't control click or you can do a screenshot of the photo, save it in a folder, and then bring it into your brochure. So where you're going to get your images is going to be from the internet, and you know, illustrations, images. Let's say they have a, you know, a famous bird that's common to that national park. You can just find it on the internet and just plop it in. Let's go to how you're going to set this up in InDesign. So I'm going to open up a, okay, now I've given you the size of the brochure, which is going to be 22 by 16, 12 columns. So let me open up an InDesign document. I'll go to InDesign, get rid of that. I'm going to go to File and open up a new document. Okay, so this is how you're going to start. And the document that you're going to set up is going to be said 16 by 22. I believe it was 22 wide by 16 deep. So we're going to go 16 inches, or I'm sorry, 22 inches by 16. One page, or actually 2 pages, because you're going to do a front and a back. So you'll set this up as 2 pages, 22 by 16 inches. And then under columns, you're going to type in 12 columns. And then the gutter space in between those columns, you could leave it here at the default. Okay. Or you can make it like 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125. That's fine. Or the default is fine. And then you're going to spin down margins here. And 1/2 inch margins are fine for this. So 0.5. And again, since you've taken InDesign, you should be familiar with a page setup, how to set up your page. And then you're going to create. Okay. So this is the way it's going to look when your page comes out. And you can see the individual columns. There's 12 columns across. It's 16 inches deep and it's 22 inches across. So here's what I would do is I would go grab a ruler and I would divide this into 4 horizontal sections. So I'm going to grab a ruler and bring it down. If it's 16, 16 divided by 4 sections is every 4 inches, right? 4, 8, 12. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but you can see the ruler guides at 4, 8, 12, and the bottom would be 16. So this is where the brochure would actually fold, okay, in these areas right here. Now there's also one fold down the middle. Okay, if this is 22 inches wide, I'm going to grab a ruler from this, grab a guide from this ruler, and I'm going to stick it right at 11 inches, okay, which is right there. And that's where that represents the fold. So this is how you're going to start. Then go ahead and save your project. Go to File and Save. And name it National Parks Brochure, whatever. And then go ahead and save it to your hard drive. We have 2 pages. So the second page is going to be identical to the first page. Actually, I have facing pages set up here, which in this case, we're not really doing a brochure or a magazine. So maybe we don't want facing pages. Maybe we just want one page and then the back side, the front side and the back side. So maybe we want these lining up with each other. So if ever you do that, if you open up a page and it comes out looking like this, just go back up to File, Document Setup, and then click off of facing pages up here. So it'll be 2 pages without facing pages. And you can see what happens here. See, when I click facing pages, it goes like that, and then unclick facing pages. So this is the front side and this is the back side. Click OK. Okay. If I can get a confirmation from you guys, if you heard everything that I said.
Yes, I heard everything you said.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah. It's just I can't look at you. I can't see your faces like in class. So
I'm here and I got everything you were telling me, so I
okay.
understand.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Um, so that's going to be the assignment. Let me go back to this. And that's how you're going to set up your page. Now, in terms of copy, we can see that there's lots of text in these brochures. I mean, these brochures are just packed with little subheads. Okay, notice how we have a main heading up here. And the way these brochures are all set up is they use the same type of masthead on all of these brochures. This is something that Massimo Vignelli set up. He also set up the typeface that was supposed to be used. Now, I'm not going to get into using a specific typeface, but I will say that you might want to use a sans serif typeface. This is probably Helvetica, just straight Helvetica. Helvetica Bold, it looks like. This also looks like Helvetica Bold in smaller text. I don't know exactly what size this is, but you can kind of see the style. Also, there's a black bar at the top of these brochures, and it happens on all of these. Even this one here has the black bar that goes across. You see how Kennesaw Mountain is set up exactly like Cabrillo? Very similar. Okay, we have this text here, and then we have the National Parks logo that occurs in the right side of the front, which we see over here and over here. So that I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Okay, so whatever national park you're doing, if it's Grand Canyon, if it's the Florida Everglades, if it's Yosemite, this will say Yosemite, and then you'll use the same verbiage here that they use. Now you could probably download the national parks logo from Google, and it's probably a version that has the background already extracted, so you can just probably place that right here in the corner. That shouldn't be a problem. As far as the back is concerned, that is not going to be anything specific. That could be anything you want it to say, but it might have a black background, you know, a band that goes across. But if you look at the Kennesaw one, they don't have that black band across on the back. Okay, they just took everything up to the edge, to the margin. Okay, so as far as the front, that's going to be standardized, but the back you can do pretty much anything you want. But you must do this on a 12-column grid. So getting back to this 12-column grid, when we're dealing with text, what you're going to do is do this. Okay, now you might have a heading, you might have a subhead that's involved. And let me just show you the example of this over here. Okay, let's say it says enjoy the park like this, and you have kind of 2 columns of text or 4 columns of text in this section here, enjoy the park. So in your brochure, what you might want to do is do something like this. Grab your text tool, and you might draw a text box. Maybe I'll draw a text box that's 2 columns wide. I'm going to zoom into this a little bit so that you can see. And I'm just going to say enjoy the park. I want that to be a little bit bigger, so I'll highlight that. Maybe I'll make that in Let's try Gotham Bold. Actually, I have to go down to Gotham Bold. It's a separate font. And then I'll make that bigger instead of 12 points. I'd say make it 20 points. Okay, so that is my heading. And for my heading, I might want to actually spell it out and make it say something real. But now for my text, I'm going to use what's called placeholder text. So I'm going to grab the text tool here, and I'm going to draw a text box. Let's say down about this much. Let me say 4 columns wide. I'm going to make this text smaller, maybe 10-point type. And then what I'm going to do is, once I drew a text box and I have my flashing cursor here, I'm going to go up to type, and I'm going to come down to, every time I access the type menu for the first time, it always gives me the spinning beach ball. But I'm going to go down into fill with placeholder text right here. And it fills this entire box with just kind of Latin text. I don't know why it's Latin, but that's what it is. And then what I'm going to do is start reshaping this text box. So I'm going to go over to my selection tool here, and I'm going to shorten this text box to 1 column. Now you notice I have a little overset text icon right here in red. That means there's more text than what you're seeing. So at that point, I'm going to grab this. Let me zoom out of this a little bit. I'm going to select this, and it fills my cursor with the rest of the text. And I'm going to come up to the next column here and kind of spit that out. And I'm going to roll up this text box. I'm going to click on this again, come over here, click, spit it out. Roll that up. Anyway, you get the gist of this. Click, spit it out. Now I want to make sure that these all align properly. So let me zoom in a little bit. I might grab a guide from the rulers, drag it down so that I have a guide that all of these text boxes can align to. And then I'll just snap these. Make sure they just kind of snap to that. There and there and there. And now when I hit my W key on the keyboard, that takes off all of the non-printing guides and columns. So I'm going to hit W now, press that. And that's what that looks like. Hit W again, your guides come on. Hit W again, your guides go off. So now if I back out, I have an area of text in my brochure that kind of looks like this over here. Now, if you want to, you can really stylize this a bit. You can do something like this maybe, where let's say maybe this line is bold. and you put a space in between so you have like a, you know, another paragraph here, and then it goes on to here, and then maybe this is bold here. Oops. Okay, so now it kind of looks like it actually says something. So that's how you're going to do the text part of this. You can use placeholder text, and then you might have a big photo up here. You can go to Google Images. And anytime I want to get a photo that has the background knocked out, I might say something, I might search for something like, you know, vase. Let's say I wanted a vase, and I might say transparent background. Okay, vase, transparent background. Then I'll go to Google Images. And whenever you see these checkerboards back here, that means that this image has already been extracted. The background has already been extracted in Photoshop. So now I could take this image here and download it. Let's see if I could save this. I'm going to hit my Control key and click. I'm going to save the image as, okay. And I see up here that it says JPEG, okay. Now a JPEG image is not going to have a transparent background. I could see that right away when I downloaded this or when I tried to save this. If it says PNG, then chances are this might work. But because this says JPEG, this is going to come in with the background. And I don't know why it looks like they're giving you a transparent image, but then what you got to do is make sure you're looking here. So if you do see JPEG, it's not going to work. So I'm going to cancel out of this. And I don't know, maybe there's something else here. I wonder if this is going to be transparent. And save this image. Oh yeah. See how it says vase PNG right here? Transparent for free download. So this one should work. Okay. And when I click save image as, okay. Let me see if this is indeed a PNG. Yes, it is. It says PNG right here. So I'm going to save it to my desktop. Let me check my desktop. There it is up here. So I'll go back to InDesign, and I'm going to import or place this image. Okay, we did a lot of placing of images in Art 148. So you should be familiar with how to place an image inside of an InDesign document. I'm going to go to File and Place, or Command D. I'm going to look to the desktop for that vase image with the transparent background. I'm going to open it. And I could just click and let it go. Okay. Oh, see how I came in with that background? So this is very deceiving, you know. It says that it's transparent, but it actually is not. In this case, we would probably have to take it into Photoshop to knock out the background. If you know how to do that, you can do that with just about any image. You can just take it into Photoshop and do a extraction of the background. I was hoping that this would already be extracted, but see if I put this on top of this, see how it blocks it? So that's not going to work either. So anyway, I think you understand what's going on. I guess none of these are transparent. Let me try this one here. I'm going to try this one, save this to the desktop. I'll go back into InDesign, and do Command D or File Place. And I'll see if I can place that one there. Click. Nope, that one has this PNG background also. So I don't know. I don't know why these are not acting like they're transparent, but apparently they're not. But that's how you're going to do it. Okay. If you want a lesson next time we meet, I can give you a lesson on knocking out a background of a photo. Now we're going to have several. You'll have several days to do this. This brochure. This brochure is kind of a hefty project to do both sides, front and back. And I'll probably give you. It probably won't be due for at least a couple of weeks. We'll be doing some other things as we go through this course, little exercises here and there, but this will be a main project that I want to start you with today. Okay, the National Parks brochure. And use the example, use the examples here. Go online and look at other examples of national parks brochures. In fact, if we just typed in National Park brochures, you can see here that if we look here, these are all kind of the same designs of national parks. You can see how many national park brochures there are. Death Valley, Grand Canyon. Okay, and they all have this same look. So you can choose whichever one you want, design it however you want, but use the grid as the basis of your layout. And when I look at your layouts, when I look at your designs, I'm going to look for the fact that you use this grid, that things are aligning to this grid, that you don't have a random box of text that's just kind of sitting there. Okay, what you don't want to do is put it there. You want to either put it there or you want to put it there. Or you want to make it at least 2 columns wide, like that, okay? That's fine to do too. You can have this set up like that. But you can see how it's following the grid system. And that's all a grid is to give you, guidance and structure in your layout. So I'm going to start you on that. I will give you Cecia, I will give you some information once I find out how to access all of this. It looks like you might be able to, well, try that again. And I will, on my end, try and find out what needs to happen. I want to go on that discussion because that guy was able to get in, one of the students was able to get in and launch the software. So we'll see how that works.
Well, Amazon Workspace kept going in the background, and once I logged into Adobe Creative Cloud, it just sent me back to like the home screen. And yeah, I'm not sure why.
Okay. I will say, if you are able, if you can, pinch the pennies and, splurge for that actual deal for $40, you'll be much happier because you'll be able to load that on your system, and things are just going to work a lot smoother for you. So that's an option too, if you want to take that route. I also do have the system requirements that you might want to take a look at if you do go that route. Let me share the screen again. I did put that up on the announcement here. So if you go to the Adobe software purchase and you click on that, that gives you the deal. And then also I put these links here to check your system to make sure that you can run that software if you do buy it. And if you click on that link, this is the InDesign system requirements for Windows. And you want to have at least this, system requirements. Now the 4 gigabytes of RAM, that's really not enough to run this software. I don't know, and if you have 4 gigabytes of RAM on your computer, you probably have a really old computer. But any newer computer will have probably at least a minimum of 8 gigs of RAM. 16 is usually the recommended amount. 32 is really the best, but I've run it on 8 gigs of RAM, and it works okay. We're not going to do anything really heavy. We're not going to be doing like big Photoshop stuff. So 8 gigs should be plenty for you.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and download it once you finish class. So to get it
Okay.
over with, it's better that way.
Okay. That's good. And Miriam, you're good with all of this so far?
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you now. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to sign off on this. If you have any other questions, go ahead and inbox me. But I'll end this. I'll have a video of what we just did to reference, and you can dive in and start working. Okay, I'll give you a firm due date. I'll write up the due date, but you'll have plenty of time to do this. So hopefully we'll be good, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday next week.
Bye.
Great. See ya.
Thank you.